So the safety level for escalator was first started back in 1974. As you can see, after that, there were some European codes released, very important. So the birth of the EN 115, at that time was just the EN 115. You will see later it will become EN 115 part 1, part 2, so there will be suffixes after EN 115. And the description, in fact we call this a family, so EN 115 family. And in this family you can see that from 2008 we have the EN 115 part 1. So part 1 is the safety code related to the construction and installation of new equipment, so completely new equipment. This is also a harmonized norm. What does it mean? It means that it gives presumption of conformity with the essential safety requirements of the relevant directive. What is the relevant directive for escalator? It is the machine directive. So escalator are machines. Elevator, they do have their own directive, which is the lift directive, but escalator are referring to the machine directive. So this was EN 115 part 1, then we have EN 115 part 2, and part 2 is the safety code related to, let's say, the possibility to increase the safety level of the existing escalator. This is not an harmonized code, so does not give presumption of conformity to machinery directive, but it is, in any case, a state-of-the-art code. So it gives a good, let's say, baseline for the safety of the existing escalator. So at this point, somebody can ask why you have developed a specific code in Italy if there is already a European code. Okay, we need to remind that EN 15 part 2 is addressing in table B2 about 70 typical risks, and for each risk is given a risk mitigation which is prioritized in high, medium and low priority. So just this kind of 70 types of risk. UNI 10411-15 is on the contrary giving a kind of philosophy how to tackle different modernization to existing escalator independently of the risk. So a general approach. So this is the difference why we developed that code in Italy, if somebody is asking. Then we have another component of the EN 15 family, which is a technical report, which is EN 15 part 3. This technical report is simply the comparison between the latest version of the EN 15 part 1 and the previous version. So in this case, EN 15 part 1 2017 and EN 15 part 1 2010, or better 2008 plus addendum 2010. Continuing the list of the EN 15 family, we do have the technical specification, which is EN 15 part 4, and EN 15 part 4 is a collection of interpretation requests. So, as you may know, during the life cycle of a code, there are many questions to each code that are collected through this interpretation request. Anybody can raise an interpretation request to clarify better the scope of the norm. This is very important because normally all these interpretation requests are collected and then they are embedded into the next version of the safety code. So the next release of the EN 15 part 1 will embed these interpretation requests. I have to say that EN 15 part 5 is missing here, but it is not listed on purpose because this is still a preliminary item, so it's a work in progress. And this will be the replacement of existing escalator in existing building, exactly like that. So existing escalator in existing building, not new escalator in existing building. And that will be an harmonized norm as well. So if we have a look at the bottom, we see that the scope of application of the EN 15, of UNI 10411 is starting back in 1974 and is covering the latest version of the code. Doesn't make sense to consider escalator before 1974 because they are simply too old and there was no regulation at all to be considered. Of course, as it is happening for elevator, the direction and the final goal of this European code, it will be to be integrated into an ISO code, so international code, that will integrate the requirements of ANSI code, European code, and Japanese code. So in future, the dream is to have one code, and if I follow that code, I can install an escalator anywhere in the world, and still I can be considered safe. So that's the dream. That's it.